I think we hit a new record this year. I was in Costco shopping for the food pantry before Labor Day. And all of the aisles right by the entrance were full of Christmas trees. It gets earlier and earlier every year, and we could grumble about that, but if you've got an ear for liturgical music, you may have noticed that the tropar and the kondak for today's Feast of the Protection of the Mother of God are also a little bit of anticipated Christmas. The tropar is in tone 4, just like the Christmas tropar. And the kondak actually repeats, not in the same tone, several of the phrases of the Christmas kondak, because they were written by the same person, St. Romanos the Melodist, whose memory we also keep today, so it's the feast day for cantors. Happy feast day. And the connection between Pokrova, the protection of the Mother of God, and Christmas, I think, is the best way to understand it. What are we celebrating when we celebrate Pokrova? We're celebrating 3 historical facts. 3 times between the 7th century and the 9th century, barbarian hordes attempted to invade the city of Constantinople. Non-Christian barbarian armies came barreling down on the center of the Christian world. Yes, I said that. It was the Dark Ages. Not much was happening in Rome. Sorry. And 3 times they were driven back, but not really by the Byzantine army. That much is fact. The Church absolutely believes that 3 times, through the intervention of the Mother of God, to whom the people spent the night in vigil and prayer, praying, guess what, the Akathist hymn, through the intercession of the Mother of God, 3 times the city and the Christian faith were spared. And on one of those occasions, a man who was kind of the court jester for the Byzantine emperor, a man named Andrew, who was called a fool for Christ, had a vision of the Mother of God actually holding out her mantle over the city. That's the image of Mary's Pokrova. She is covering her people with her protection. Okay. It's kind of a weird feast because ever since 1453, it looks like Mary's protection has been withdrawn from the city of Constantinople, which fell to the Turks. Hagia Sophia, the most important church in the Eastern Christian world, has been a mosque ever since, and there are very few Christians left in the city of Constantinople, and the patriarch is practically a prisoner in the city. So how come Mary protects sometimes and doesn't protect other times? Let's look at Christmas. Picture Mary's protection of the child in her womb. Picture Mary's concern during that journey from Nazareth to Bethlehem. Picture Mary's concern as it becomes clearer and clearer, whether they went to hotel.com or I don't know where, and discovered there were absolutely no rooms to be had in Bethlehem. Picture her concern as they find their way to a stable in a cave, and she settles down to give birth in a strange place. Picture Mary's concern for that newborn child whom she wrapped in swaddling clothes. Picture Mary's concern for that child as she hears about Herod's plan to destroy him. Her concern once again as the infant Jesus makes the exodus backwards and goes down to Egypt to escape King Herod. Picture Mary's concern throughout the first 12 years of the life of the Son of God, the Son of Mary. Picture her concern when he disappears at the age of 12. Picture her concern when she hears him say, when she finally finds him in the temple, "Didn't you know I had to be about my Father's business?" What's Mary's concern? Her concern is that this child should grow up safe and healthy and holy. Right? Isn't that what every mother wants? And if you forgot about the holy part, let me remind you. St. Paul says that's God's concern for all of us. He says in the epistle to the Ephesians that God's plan for us is that you and I should grow up into the full stature of a mature person in Christ. We have to grow up in Christ from the moment of our baptism until the moment when we pass on into heaven. Our job is to grow up into the full stature of a mature person in whom the image and likeness of God is clearly revealed, and that's somebody we call a saint. Constantinople fell because church politics and civil politics and a whole lot of nasty dealings made it less and less and less a holy city, made the church more and more a commodity to be bought and sold, more and more the platform for people to make their careers. And God had no interest in saving that. We can count on Mary's protection if what we want is to grow up into the full stature of a mature person in Christ. We can count on Mary's protection from the power of the enemy if we want to be protected. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we want to hang out with Satan. We can count on Mary's protection if we do like Mary and always choose the better part, and she'll make sure it's never taken from us.